Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Food, Wine, and Travel Show, where we go across country and travel the world with members of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. Let's go. Hey, everybody. Today we are going to Scottsdale, Arizona, which is right outside Phoenix in the center of the beautiful Grand Canyon state. And we're going to chat with Judy Karnia. She is a travel writer who actually used to be a veterinarian. But she also guides people out in nature. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about Scottsdale, where to play, where to eat, where to go out in nature, experience art, apparently wine. I'm all for that. And you can keep up with Judy. Go to judykarnia.com. That's Karnia. And also her articles up on blendradioandtv.com. All the links that we're talking about are in the show notes. So welcome, Judy. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm, missing the desert Southwest a little bit, just a little bit of sunshine. But I heard that you
Mhm.
guys got some rain. So wildflowers, like in your picture behind you, sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're going to
big
have a nice
this.
spring.
Yeah, this picture is from last year. We had a huge bloom of flowers last year, so hoping we repeat it. I went out hiking yesterday, and it was gorgeous out. Nice 60 degrees and sunny. Just perfect day for the trails.
Awesome, awesome. So what do you think it's gonna when would you say people should know about for the wildflowers? Like end of February?
Yeah, yeah, February into March, even in
Mm.
April. Yeah, some. I mean, we always have some flowers of some sort. That's kind of the nice thing about living here too, or and visiting here is there's always something that's in
Oh.
bloom. So, probably, the big bloom in the desert will be, yeah, in the spring.
And to me, this is really cool because you do have saguaro cactus, which is like, so unique to have. You've got the gumbies, and who doesn't want to play with a gumby if you go to Arizona?
Yeah, yeah. The saguaros are pretty iconic for our area, and they're pretty cool
Uh,
to see in person. Yeah.
yeah, because you come from the Wisconsin area, the Midwest area, right?
Chicago actually is where I
Chicago,
grew
that's
up.
right. Why did I
So,
think Wisconsin? I've been
yeah,
writing
yeah.
about cheese. Can you tell? But the Chicago area down to,
Yeah.
the Southwest, that's got to be a little warmer.
Yeah, yeah, it's a big change, I mean, the Chicago, Illinois is all very flat, and here I'm
Mhm.
surrounded by mountains, which is beautiful. Every time I look out, I can see a mountain, and, yeah, the weather, I'm fine with the summer heat, just I don't wanna be cold. So, to me, it's really, I mean, a good time to visit anytime because
Mhm.
there's so much indoor stuff to do, and you can always be in the pool if it's
Mhm.
hot and, go out in the morning, when it's cooler, and so, yeah.
Yeah, and then the monsoon storms that happen in the summer to me are awesome.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty impressive. Yeah,
Mm.
they're just like wind whips up out of nowhere. But then in
Mhm.
like an hour, they're done, they're past, and then it's sunny again. So it's pretty cool.
Is Scottsdale, because we did an interview with Peggy Fiandaca from LDV Winery recently. Then, well,
Mhm.
she's on our show every month, and she was talking about Scottsdale is becoming a blue zone. And I think that is quite
Yeah,
exciting. So it seems to me that Scottsdale is really embracing quality of life as a place for its residents, but also for the visiting
right.
community.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's a project they've been working on and
Mhm.
are about to try to launch. And yeah, I mean, just, with the good food, there's good wineries in Arizona
Yay.
now, so you can do a lot of wine tasting. There's so many places to get out, get exercise, just to walk around. It's a very active, yeah, active community.
Yeah, talk about a little bit. Let's talk about getting out into nature. What are some of, for people visiting, what are some of the places you recommend they can go hit the trail, and as far as I remember, it's a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some really serious hiking. One of my favorite trails is in the McDowell's Norn Preserve, which is northeast Scottsdale. It's a huge preserve, lots of different types of trails. That's where I was yesterday hiking. I go to
Oh.
the Gateway Trail head a lot. They have some different hikes where you can do like a kind of a a loop that takes me about an hour and a half or so to walk. You go up a little bit, and they also have a nature trail there. So if you
Oh,
don't,
nice.
if you don't want to go up in elevation, it's a very nice nature trail with the educational placards and everything. And then there's a loop that I've done a few times. It goes like almost 10 miles, and you get back behind the mountain, and you feel like you're just out in the middle of the desert. So there's
Cool.
and there's just so many trails all around the city. And then there's things like the Desert Botanical Garden, which
Oh, I
is,
want to go.
in Phoenix, very close to Scottsdale, and just so many unique plants. It's just such a different botanical garden than you see most other places. A
Yeah.
lot of cacti, but it's so variable, the types of plants, different types of cacti and aloe and trees. And
Yeah, the
so
trees,
that's
like
a great place.
when the Palo
Mhm.
Verdes bloom, and I know you do forest
Yeah,
bathing. So do people look at you like, what do you mean forest bathing in
yeah.
Arizona? That you do have forest bathing in your area and nearby too.
We do, yeah, yeah. I tend to call it more desert bathing, but it's a practice where you are basically bathing your senses in nature, like you would do sunbathing. And so it's a very meditative type, quiet, connective experience to get people just to slow down and
Mm.
really just be in nature. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to hike up a mountain. It's just sometimes it's just sitting with a tree or just watching the ants crawl or something. So it's a very
Or a rattlesnake.
slow.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I love
you
snakes,
can't see
and
them.
I bring it up not to be negative. I mean,
Yeah,
but to also just keep people
yeah,
aware that keep your
exactly.
senses out in the desert, and the snakes are not there to get
Hmm.
you at all. They're not.
Exactly. They don't want to mess with you. They want to be left alone. But yeah, like you say, being aware. The time people get bit is because they, come upon it without realizing, and the snake is just being defensive. So you hear the
Yeah.
rattle. You can hear the rattle from, 20, 30 yards away. So you hear it and just move
Don't.
away.
Yeah,
But
move away.
yeah. And there's, cactus spines, and, some of the trails are very rocky. So, and it is a very dry place.
Mm,
So, you have to make sure you have a lot of water if you're going out there. Carry, more water than you think you need. And,
mm,
even when it's hot, as long as you have a lot of water, you're good. So it's just being smart and being
yeah.
aware. It's so worth it to get out there.
And that's part of the meditative part of being out in nature is being aware and focusing on things, being observant and really appreciating it. I mean, that's how you see all like the butterflies and the hummingbirds. Oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
so you've got so many different kinds of bird species for people to see, like I was saying,
Hmm.
butterfly species, and depending on where you go, even dragonflies,
Right.
And so,
Hmm.
because you do have little
Yeah.
little oases throughout, Arizona as a whole, for people to know it's not just one big
Exactly.
patch of sand. I always want to tell
Hmm.
people
Right. Yeah.
Arizona is not a patch of sand with a Gumby cactus. There's so much more.
Yeah, yeah, it's so complex and beautiful to me. I just find it beautiful. And the fact that you can see so far in the landscape. It's like when you're walking, you can see all around you. Like where my background here. If you're up in the mountain, you can see the whole Phoenix Valley kind of spread
Mm.
out before you. So it's pretty cool.
And vitamin D is good for us, and so is
It
fresh air.
is. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. What got
Hmm.
you into travel writing?
Well, I wanted to do something different. Like you mentioned, I've been a veterinarian for 30 years, and wanted, as I was, getting a little older here and moving into retirement, wanting to do something, something different. And
Mm,
I love to travel. I don't mind, like, I like being on a plane, and I like going to different places, and
hmm
to be able to write about these places, it just, for one thing, I do more preparation. I really know where I'm going and things to do. And then when I get to write about it afterwards, I just get to relive my
mm,
experiences and then
mm.
share that with other people. So it's been
Yeah.
really enjoyable.
Yeah, and everyone again, judykarnia.com is the website. Now, am I even pronouncing your last name correctly?
You are, yes.
Because I almost, you're in Arizona, I almost said carnitas,
Yeah.
you're close,
No.
so well, that brings me to food. Okay, so you've gone out hiking. the downtown area, that's got to be kind of like a hub for folks to go for art. I mean, isn't
Yeah.
Scottsdale like just a massive art community too?
Yeah, we do. We have a few, a few sections that are good places to go. I mean, you got the Old Town area, which is kind of, it looks like the Old West with the, the covered walkways and the all the wood and everything. And a lot of, souvenir type shops, but also a lot of good restaurants and bars and then, go right across Scottsdale Avenue is the Gallery District. So just a bunch of art galleries, which have
Mm.
really come back now. They really suffered during the pandemic time, but now back to, all full galleries and all different types of art. I mean, some really classic looking stuff, some very modern stuff, contemporary stuff. I mean, they're just so
Mm.
many different artists that are showcased there, and some restaurants and bars mixed in there a little bit. And then we have the waterfront. What's called the waterfront. It's where the
Mm.
canal. I think of like maybe a couple decades ago, Scottsdale decided to develop their canal area, and so restaurants, and that's where they have festivals, and even just to walk around there. They had the Solari Bridge. That was kind of the main showcase of that is the Solari Bridge and some other sculptures. And then if you go up in North Scottsdale, there's the Carolyn Commons. Yeah, Carolyn Commons and Scottsdale Quarter area, which is
Yeah.
again nice place to walk around. Lots of restaurants and shops and lots going on. So different areas you can go to.
And then what about events? Do you have art festivals and things like that too, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, the actually Scottsdale just finished a huge renovation of their Civic Center park. This
Mm.
is where the Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts, the Scottsdale Museum of Contemporary Art, City
Cool.
Hall, the main library, the Scottsdale Historical Museum, all are around this park, and it has two big stages now. And they have concerts. They have actually there's probably one this afternoon. I got to go look and see if there's gonna be one this afternoon.
Cool.
And art fests and all sorts of different festivals. Where like American Indian festivals. Where there's booths with
Mm,
crafts and
sure.
art and food and music, and they do that at the waterfront as well. So lots of different. And of course, we have our big main events.
Hmm.
Like the auto show and the golf and all that. But there's so many, very accessible free
Mm.
events that people can just wander into.
And what about, you talk about free public art is something that people can do and just walk around as part of getting your steps in is go out and look at public art. And I've heard that Scottsdale has quite a
Hmm.
bit of public art, not just murals, but also sculpture.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sculptures around, like in the Civic Center Park area and the waterfront area, but along streets too, like in front of restaurants. And there is, if you go to the Scottsdale Parks website, they have a map where you can find
Cool.
all the different public art that you can go visit, and then it gives you a little history of who
Oh,
made them and when they were there. And I mean, there's some things that have been there for 50 years and some that are brand new.
wow.
So it's really very, yeah. Right behind you is the waterfront, and your
Oh, okay.
background. They have that is now a big mosaic with these colorful balls and everything. That's in a fountain, and that just I think it was just about 2 or 3 years ago that they finished that. So
That's
lots
cool.
of art to see. Yeah.
That's a thing too. Like in that's like an evening photo, right? And that's something that I love, or it's probably morning. Who knows? I didn't take it.
Yeah. Looks like
It's a good
sunset,
photo. I thought
probably.
that's it. Looks, it's
Yeah.
got those desert warm colors, but in the
Yeah.
evenings is some of my favorite times, like summer evenings and being in a downtown, just going, in and out of galleries and things. I love that, that warm
Hmm.
evening where it's just, there's
Exactly.
something awesome about desert nights.
Yeah, we have some pretty spectacular sunsets. I mean, we have some
Mm.
good sunrises too, but the sunsets are generally, if there's any clouds in the sky at all, it's even if there's not clouds in the sky, I mean, just the colors that light up. I mean, it's just, nature's art,
Yeah.
adding to our human art. And it's just, yeah, it is gorgeous to walk around on an
And
evening
have
like that.
local wine. I like that.
Yes.
So you have
Hmm.
tasting rooms, and the vineyards with their tasting rooms there.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, there's vineyards in a few different places in Arizona, but in Scottsdale, in the Old Town area, in the waterfront area, there's tasting rooms that have, a lot of the local wine, and people can tell you about it, and it's fun just to go sample the different
I
the
know
different
LDV
types.
wines. I love their
Hmm.
wines. I'm a huge fan. I'm huge.
Yeah.
Like, just leave me with them.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
all
and
mine.
walking distance, you can walk a block and get to Merkin, you can walk a block and get to Arizona Stronghold. I mean, there's just all these
Oh,
different,
that's cool.
yeah, there's different ones, if you want to do just a little walking tour going to the different wine tasting rooms, you can do that. I'm sure somebody does that like officially, or you can just kind of wander around and find them too,
Mm,
or,
cool.
look up a tour group.
That's what about the food scene? From what I've heard too, that because I haven't done much in your area whatsoever, mostly Tucson and some other areas. But
Mm.
what about the food? Obviously, you're going to have Mexican food, Southwest food, but the farm to table has got to be pretty big with all the, agriculture that surrounds you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just about every type of food that you want. You can find, in all different areas. Some places where you're like, it's just on a street you wouldn't know,
Mm,
unless you looked for it. But yeah, so many great, yeah, like say the farm to table, the fresh food, just all different cuisines.
mm.
And one of the best things is that, like, so many places have patios, outdoor patios. And so you can, you're spending the day outdoors, then go to a patio to finish up, and when it's a little warmer, we have misters to kind of cool you off. And when it's a little cooler, they bring out the heaters. And so almost year round, you can be out on a
Oh,
patio. And so that's why so many places have these really nice patios. I mean, certainly on that waterfront there, a few patios that look right onto the canal, that you can sit at and watch people walking by, see the canal, watch the sunset. I mean, it's really
cool.
really nice.
So it is quality of life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that really
Yeah.
is. I love that.
Yeah, I live right
That's,
next to the Civic Center park.
oh,
I can walk to dozens of restaurants, walk to festivals. And there's many, hotels, and,
mm,
you can get vacation rentals, things like that, that put you right there, very close to
mm.
the city so that you can walk around and really enjoy,
Oh, that's
just the
nice.
daily life of it. Yeah,
Yeah, walking is so good for us. It's
it
healthy.
really is.
You know,
Hmm.
is that part of it when you do these forest walks and it's nature's therapy, as you say, but just even getting your body moving and maybe not jolting it around as much, but just kind of keeping it, being moving. If you're going to go out to dinner, it's good to be able
Yeah.
to walk it off a bit.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. You go to dinner and then take a walk around Old Town or the
Mm,
canal, and kind of, yeah, get your metabolism going after you
yeah.
after you eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, one thing with IFTAR, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association, we love doing these shows because we get to go to different places across the country and around the world. And today, it's cool to be in Scottsdale. So
Mm.
for folks to learn a little bit more about it. And I just wanted to ask you, how long have you been a member of IFTWA, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association? And have you been able to go to any of their webinars or conferences or events?
Yeah, yeah. I've been with them, I think, about 2 years. I just started travel writing about 2.5 years ago, so I found them pretty quickly and joined, and they've been a great resource
Mm,
for me. Their conferences are great. I mean, learned so much from the actual, talks, but also just from talking to the other writers,
mm,
and you find,
cool.
what publications they're working for, and so, you find new publications, and you just get, advice and camaraderie. I just did. They had their 2023 conference was actually a cruise from Vancouver to LA,
Yeah.
and on the new Discovery Princess. And it was, so we had all of our, seminars, but also we had time to just enjoy, the towns, the cruising. It's the first time I've ever been on a cruise, so it was
Oh, cool.
nice to be able to experience that. And yeah, and then they have different webinars through the year as well,
Mm,
just, like Zoom webinar type things. And yeah, they're a great resource.
that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We've
Hmm.
been doing these shows with them for years, and I'm just always like telling people, follow IFTWA, IFWTWA, the hashtag, or at IFTWA and #1 on Instagram. But if people follow that hashtag, they're going to be taken all over the world with destinations, with
Right.
articles. I love following them on social media just to, it's like in between meetings, like, where can I go now?
Yeah,
Armchair
yeah.
travel, and then
Hmm.
plan to go. That's the other thing,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
gonna be
that's one of the fun things about, following travel writers on social media. It's like you get to
yeah.
see all these places that they are. Yeah. My Instagram is Judy Ann Travel, JUDYANNE Travel. And so anywhere I am, yeah, I try to get those photos up there so people can kind of see,
Where's
all
your
the
next
great
trip? I know you
places.
just came back from New York City, so where's next?
Hmm. Next, I'm going in about 3 weeks. I'm meeting some friends of mine from veterinary school. We're going to Sonoma County to do some wine tasting. So we're doing a long weekend there. And then after that, I go to Costa Rica for a forest bathing
I was
retreat.
gonna say that that's the ultimate forest bathing,
Yes,
but then you're
yeah,
gonna be there's no quiet. I mean, you've got toucans and you got all kinds of monkeys and things going on in the jungles.
right.
I mean, that's how and the birds. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, it's
Oh,
actually my instructor from my class that I took for forest bathing. Two of my instructors are doing this retreat, and I was like, "Yep, sign me up." As soon as they said they were
cool.
doing it, I'm like, "Yep, I'm going." So
Oh,
yeah,
that is so cool.
really
That
looking
is.
forward to that.
Oh, wow. So when you go to these, are you writing from that perspective about, being out in nature or,
Mhm.
are you going to write about it? Because you can't, what, don't, isn't
Yeah,
it hard to travel without writing about it?
yeah, yeah. I always, yeah, anywhere I am, I'm like, "Oh, I need to write an article on this." Yeah, it's hard to just not think of it that way. But yeah, I mean, my main purpose is to do the forest bathing, but I'm sure the experience will be so wonderful that I'll want to,
Mm.
write about it and share that.
Well, I think that you bring a unique perspective, and I think as we really change the way we travel, it's, we promote socially responsible and, just environmentally responsible travel, sustainability. So if you're
Mhm.
sustainable to the environment, you're also being sustainable to the community, and that equals economic sustainability as well. And it's about us being
Right.
light-footed and also giving back and actually having a true immersive experience. And I think with what you're doing with
Mhm.
forest bathing is a very light on the land way of experiencing and really opening yourself up to an environment. And so I really
Right.
appreciate what you're doing with that and getting people to understand like, oh, it's not just, there's things to it. Do you kind of guide people to stop their mind, the monkey mind?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We start the experience starts with like a guided meditation to get people aware of their senses. So I bring them through like their different, what are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? And then, the invitations that I give kind of focused on that. And it's when I tell them like when okay, your mind starts going to your grocery list, bring it back. What am I feeling? What am I smelling? What am I so it's really not just and many people, when they go in nature, they're looking at things, but they may not be looking that closely. They're not really
Mm.
listening. They don't stop and listen. They don't smell things. So it's really trying to use all your senses to just
What
really
about
slow down.
photography at that point when you're going
Mhm.
on a, guided like forest walk, forest bathing? Are you asking people to take their phones and put them away or,
I
how does
really
that
don't
work?
tell yeah, I don't say anything about it at all. I figure people get out of it what they need. And most people I will see somebody taking a photo of something, but it's not like they're walking around with their phones the whole time.
Mm,
They pretty much just naturally put them away so that they can focus. And
mm,
so, yeah, there's times when I'm on a walk that oh, like, God, that flower's amazing. And I take a picture of it so I can
yeah,
remember it later. But it's not like you're walking around looking for photo opportunities.
the
But
selfie stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but like I said, I don't even mention it. People just kinda naturally, once you get them, connected to nature, just naturally kinda put it away.
So what got you started in it? Like, did you go on a hike on one of your travels that just kind of got you into it and kind of hooked you in or?
Well, actually, I was, it's because I'm a certified coach as well, life coach, and as I
Mhm.
was doing that, I was looking at, like, using nature to coach, and then I found this
Oh,
program. It's the Association of Nature and Forest Therapy,
mm,
and they, train people to be forest bathing guides, and I was like, "Well, that sounds amazing," and so I just, I took their course, and it just really fit with what I
Yeah.
was looking for and, how I like to experience nature. So I'm like, this is a way that I can bring other people to really
Mm,
appreciate nature so that we can preserve it. You're not going to preserve
yeah.
something if you don't appreciate it, if it's just, something to walk through, on a fun day. If you really appreciate all the connections, the life that is out there, you're going to be more likely to want to preserve it. So that's like kind of my
Mm.
hidden agenda, I guess.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
people to enjoy it, but also hopefully they appreciate it so they'll preserve it in the future.
Yeah, yeah. And that's even with your writing, with what you do. And you go on your site,
Right.
it's beautiful. And you get into the pictures and writing, and you're like, oh, okay, now I feel good. So I enjoyed time
Good.
on your site. I wanted to say too, with you being a life coach and also having made a transition from being, in a veterinary practice, which is
Hmm.
stressful, all these
Yes.
animals' lives, it's like,
Very. Hmm.
so going from that and then making transition, as travel, does that help people transition in their lives and doing things like getting out into nature, realizing, because nature is humbling, but at the same time, when you're more connected, you feel like you can do, I don't know, I feel inspired.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
when you see
Yeah,
flowers
exactly.
bloom in the desert, like, hey, they can bloom with no rain,
That's
so can we, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. To me, I mean, travel just really opens up your world.
Mm,
To see how other people live, to see other, art and nature in different places. When I travel, I don't like to go like, if I have a week, I'm not going to go to 5 different places. I'm going to go to one place and go to different places within it and really get to try to know that community. That's how I like to travel. And so I like to kind of bring that, to other people, like slow down, like really see it, don't like,
mm-hmm,
oh, you have to hit this highlight and this highlight and then move on to the next place. So, to me, trying to, emphasize that slow travel of walking around, really, if you go to
mm.
a museum, really look at stuff, don't just like, okay, I saw the Mona Lisa, I'm gone, like
Yes, selfie,
really
click,
look.
click. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Selfies are
mean,
fine, but,
yeah,
enjoy
we're
it
on the
too.
same page. We have a Facebook group called 1 Hour Walk, a hashtag 1 Hour Walk. And it was because when we started doing our Love Your Parks tour, we were going to national parks. And I even know travel writers who were like, oh, I'm not an athlete. I can't do national park walks. I'm like, oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Nelly, they
Yeah.
have, things for people in wheelchairs. They're accessible
Right.
boardwalk trails. So, and
Right.
so
You
many
don't have
parks,
to
not
do a
just on,
10-mile hike.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can do it. And it really is about getting out there to stop and smell the roses or the cactus blooms,
Mhm.
whatever
Yeah.
it is in the place that you're in. So we did it. And it's really about a 1 hour walk can be in a museum, like you're saying. It is that slow down. And if we take 3 1 hour walks a week, our cardiologist, Dr. Jack Hughes, on our show all the time says
Yeah.
we will be healthy. We need 150 minutes, I think, a week of
Yeah.
walking to
Yeah.
be healthy. So
Yeah, there's been studies of forest bathing that have shown that, after 2 hours in nature, being slow in nature, your heart rate goes down, your cortisol levels decrease, your blood
oh, I need
pressure
that.
decreases, you're more creative, you're more focused. So it is like if you can spend, and you don't have to do that every day, but if you do that once a week and then get like a little 10-minute burst,
Mhm.
every day, it's really going to keep your mind, healthier and more focused and
Yeah.
just feel better.
I mean, I went hiking in the snow the other day, and I don't even
Yeah.
have like the boots or anything for it. I was like, I have to go out and take these views, and you're
Yeah.
crunching through ice and snow, and your feet are frozen, and you're going, why am I doing this in sneakers? This is dumb. But I'm like, I'm doing it. But I felt so like I was amped up when I can't got into the house. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, look what I just did. I was like so more awake than if I was sitting inside
Uh-huh.
with the heater on. Like I was just
Exactly.
so like a live wire, and
Mhm.
it was hard to settle down after that because it was just too mind blowing. Just
Yeah.
you can get it such a shot of energy from nature. It really, and you
Mhm.
sleep better. You get that
Right.
adrenaline rush, but then you sleep like a baby
Yeah.
when you're out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, a national park. It can be your local park. It can be your
Yep.
backyard. It's just being, listening to the birds and watching the wind go through the trees. It doesn't, it's not like, oh, I can't get to, some big place. I can't do
Yeah.
it. It's like, do it anywhere. Walk
Yeah.
around your
Well,
block.
All right. Do I really? Oh, wait, the sun just came out. Look,
Oh,
you gave me good juju. I'm going to
yeah,
go out there
ready.
in the snow again. I will.
Excellent.
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, Judy. Everyone, judykarnia.com. Also, our article for Scottsdale is in the show notes, and you can find it on blendradioandtv.com. It's been a true pleasure. Everyone, IFTWA too, ifwtwa.org. Go there. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much and happy
Thank
travels.
you. Thank you. Happy travels to you too.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio's Food, Wine, and Travel Show featuring members of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. We encourage you to visit their website. We say IFTWA, which is ifwtwa.org. You can also follow us at bigblendradio.com. Happy travels, everyone.